Capernaum. This fishing village was the birthplace of James, John, and Matthew, and sits just a few miles away from Bethsaida. Aside from this, though, Capernaum and Bethsaida were quite different. Capernaum was controlled by Herod Antipas, the brother of Herod Philip, and was situated along the most important highway in this region, the Via Maris. This made it a hub of commerce, culture, and conversation. In other words, the perfect place for Jesus to disseminate his message. Still, Jesus chose Capernaum to be his home base. And it makes you wonder, why? What made this city stand out among all the other cities of Galilee?
So behind me are the remains of a house that looks pretty similar to what you would have seen here in Capernaum at the time of Jesus. And what you'll notice if you look at this house is that it's many, many rooms. It's a house that seems to have maybe a really wealthy family or maybe perhaps many families. And this is something that would have been common at the time of Jesus. It would be called an oikos, a household. And what that means is it would be people from different generations living together, grandparents, grandchildren, sons, daughters, aunts, uncles, cousins. Now, we don't see in scripture that Jesus specifically lived with Peter. We see hints at it. We see that Capernaum was his home. Mark names that at the beginning of chapter 2. He would have been part of this community. He would have been in the lives of the disciples. If you lived in a household like this, generations lived together. You ate together, you played together, you worked together.
Now here's what I think is so important about these ruins. They don't just show us where Jesus' disciples lived, they show us how they lived. I mean, can't you imagine it? The disciples, their parents, their kids and cousins, not just listening to Jesus teach, but sharing every facet of their lives with him. Which, let's be honest, is exactly what Jesus wants our relationship with him to look like. Comment unlock if you'd like to learn how to study scripture in a way that unlocks huge spiritual growth.